All right, let's see what you guys remember about adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions. So the first one here, we have 3/7 plus 2/7. What are we going to do to get our answer there? So if we have 3/7 plus 2/7, what are we going to get? We're going to end up getting 5/7 here. And so the way we get that is by adding the numerators, right? So we add the numerators, 3 plus 2 is 5, and then we keep the denominators the same. Now this is a little bit tricky. This is something we see a lot of people have trouble with, so you want to make sure you keep this straight. You have to make sure the denominator stays the same when you're adding. Okay? Now the reason we have to make sure the denominator stays the same is if we picture this, say we have 2 pizzas. All right, and one pizza, we cut it up into 7 slices. So it looks something like that. And then we take another pizza and we cut it up the same way. And in one of them we have 3 pieces. Let's pretend like those are all the same size. The other one we have 2. So how much of a pizza do we have between those 2? You guys can answer that for me, right? How many slices do we have? So this is 3/7 of a pizza. This is 2/7 of a pizza. So we have a total of 5 slices of pizza, and each slice is 1/7 of the pizza. Okay? So just because we're adding these together doesn't mean we want to add the denominators, because that would make those slices smaller. Okay? So the denominator is going to stay the same because it's still 1/7 of the whole. All right? So we end up with 5 total. So if we look at this one, can we subtract when one denominator is 4 and the other denominator is 3? No. Okay, adding and subtracting are the same with fractions. The only difference is one we add, one we subtract. So we can't subtract here because we don't have the denominators the same. So what are we going to have to do? We need to get a common denominator like we had on the first one. Here we had 7 on the bottom of both. Here we're going to need to get the same number on the bottom of both. All right, so to get a common denominator, we're looking for a number that 4 and 3 both go into. So 4 goes into numbers like 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, and so on. 3 goes into numbers like 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So what's the first one of those that they both had in common? The 12, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to change this to something over 12 minus something over 12. Now, is that the same thing as 3 over 12? Is 3/4 the same thing as 3/12? No. If I cut a pizza up into 4 slices and I get 3 of them, that's different than if I cut it up into 12 slices and get 3 of them, right? Because if I cut it up into 12 slices, the slices are a lot smaller. So I'm going to need more to make up for it. So does anybody know how I figure out what goes on top here so that it's the same? So let me ask this. What do I do to the 4 to get 12? Multiply by 4 times what is 12? 3. So do the same thing to the top, exactly. So we're going to multiply by 3 on top also. What is 3 times 3? 9. All right, so what that means is 3/4 is the same thing as 9/12. All right, so if we use that pizza example again, if I have a pizza that's cut up into 4 slices and I get 3 of them, 3 out of those 4, it would look like that, right? So then if I were to cut it up into 12 slices, it would look something like this. And now all of a sudden I have how many slices? So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So every slice that we had, we split up into 3 slices, so we multiply everything by 3 and get 9 over 12. Does that kind of make sense, what we're doing? We have to do the same thing for the 2/3, but for the 2/3, how do we make that 3 into a 12? What do we multiply by? We multiply by 4. So in this one, we're multiplying or taking each slice and cutting it into 4 slices. And so we have to do the same thing to the numerator. And what is 2 times 4? 8. So now what we have is 9 twelfths minus 8 twelfths. And I think everybody in here can tell me what that's going to be. What's 9 minus 8?
1.
1. What's 12 minus 12? Oh, wait. We're not going to do that, right? We're going to keep it as twelfths. So if we have 9 slices of pizza, take away 8 slices of pizza, we have 1 slice of pizza, but it's still a twelfth of that pizza. So the multiplication one I think is a little easier. Most people get this one right without really necessarily knowing what they're doing. What are we going to do here to multiply these two fractions? To multiply the fractions, we're going to divide them? Yeah, we're just going to multiply. To multiply two fractions together, you just go straight across and multiply. So what's 2 times 4? 8. And then on the bottom, what's 3 times 5? 15. So when we multiply fractions, we can just multiply straight across like that, and we get 8 over 15. Now, it will get a little bit more complicated when we have fractions that can reduce, but for now, that's all you need to do. That's it. Now, the division one, that's a little trickier. Anybody remember how to do that one? KFC. Did he ever say KFC to you last year?
Nope.
You guys know what KFC is, right? Kentucky Fried Chicken?
No, he told us about the fire.
Oh. Okay. Well, if the KFC, at least the way that we're going to use it for dividing it is keep, flip, change. Okay, so that's something that might help you out here. So the first one we're going to keep the same. All right, so the 2/3 doesn't change. We're going to flip the second one. So instead of 5 over 7, we're going to get 7 over 5. And then we're going to change division to multiplication. So basically what we're going to do for a division problem with fractions is we're going to change it to a multiplication problem. All right, and to do that, we change the division to multiplication and we flip the second fraction. Okay, once we do that, it's just like this other one here where we got 8 over 15. We just have to multiply straight across now. What is 2 times 7? 14. And what is 3 times 5?
15.